Hello and welcome to the Morningstar series Market Reaction. I'm Emma Wall and here today at Coutts with Mohammed Syed to talk about Japan. Hi Mohammed.
Morning, welcome.
So we have hit a 21-year high in Japan, Japanese stock market. What has caused this fantastic rally?
I think a number of factors. Least of all the structural reforms that have quietly been taking place in the background over the last decade. And they are both fiscal, they're both monetary, but also actually the reforms around tax, reforms around how industry operates, and also the export drive that Japan's always led, but it's suddenly changed from where it used to be from Western Europe, US, to also now Southeast Asia and into China. So all of those have led to a strong growth, strong earnings, and so we see that manifested itself in the 21-year high.
It sounds like politics has played an important part in this rally then, which leads to my next question. The snap election in Japan that's upcoming. People are calling it the most exciting election in Japanese history. Why is that?
I'm not sure people in Japan would see it that way. I think we see it from a Western lens that it's exciting. I think it's different because they've never had snap elections of that nature before, historically. It's also around a lot of structural reforms that they would like to implement, and so that gives them more confidence once they get in. Tax will be a huge driver. I think monetary policy, how banks operate, how the system overall operates. So I think it's interesting from that angle that they've called a snap election when historically they haven't, and B, they didn't have to. But I think to speed the pace and speed of reform, we feel that the political parties felt that if you get the mandate, we can move faster.
Do we expect Abe to win again then?
I think so, yeah. I also think politically, the economic resurgence that we've seen and the growth will be agnostic to who gets in. Because structural reforms, once they're bedded and they've had the foundations, they carry on irrespective of the political party that gets in.
And then so presumably the stock market continues to rally as well?
Yes, that's our view. And it continues to grow. There's a lot of strong earnings. There's some great companies, and a lot of the companies, sometimes from a Western lens, aren't the ones that one would associate generally with. So it's not necessarily the Sonys, the Toyotas, etc., the big manufacturers, but it's also some of the smaller, the mid-sized, the SMEs. SMEs in Japan, in a UK context, are actually fairly significant companies domestically. So an example would be robotic companies. So Japan is roughly 8% market cap from a global perspective. Robotics is 25% of the global market. And they've been doing this for a considerable period of time. So both robotics and therefore artificial intelligence. The driver has been demographics. So aging population, they need help, they need a social security blanket that wasn't quite there to the extent that they thought they needed it. So robotics has suddenly popped up. So there's an array of robotic companies that have come up, and that's just an example of some of the structural changes that have taken place.
Mohammed, thank you very much.
Thank you.
This is Emma Wall from Morningstar. Thank you for watching.